Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming today. My name is Mark Oliva. I'm the Managing Director of Public Affairs for the National Shooting Sports Foundation. And for those who don't know, NSSF is the Firearm Industry Trade Association. Our membership includes firearm manufacturers, distributors, and thousands of federally licensed retailers. Today, the firearm industry employs more than 384,000 hardworking Americans, and we're proud to represent each and every one of them. That includes Primary Arms, where we are here today. And we'd like to thank Marshall Lerner, the owner of Primary Arms, for working with us, and the entire hardworking team here at Primary Arms for hosting us. Thank you, Marshall. We appreciate your support and cooperation. We're here at Primary Arms to call attention to the cooperative efforts of the firearm industry, the ATF, the Department of Justice, and local law enforcement to prevent the crime of straw purchasing firearms. That is the illegally purchasing a firearm for somebody who cannot or will not be associated with the sale of that firearm. It's called the Don't Lie for the Other Guy campaign, and it's in its 25th year. It is a hallmark of success in preventing crime. We are invested in ensuring that firearms remain beyond the reach of prohibited individuals, and the Don't Lie campaign is a crucial tool in that effort, in the national effort to prevent the illegal straw purchases of firearms. I should also point out and emphasize that neighborhood firearm retailers, including those throughout the Houston area and across the state of Texas, are literally the first line of defense against these type of illegal purchases. And we at NSSF are proud to work with the ATF and help our retailers identify and prevent illegal straw purchases from occurring. I'd like to welcome a few folks that are here with us today. First, as I previously mentioned, we're glad to be here at Primary Arms, so we thank Marshall Lerner for hosting us. We're also joined today by the ATF Special Agent in Charge, Michael Waddell. Michael, thank you so much for coordinating with our team and being part of today's important announcement. Also with us here today, the Department of Justice is Sebastian Edwards from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and we thank you so much for the important work that you and your office do to keep our community safe, like here in Houston and other Texas cities. The NSSF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the U.S. Attorney's Office all stand together to remind the public that individuals convicted of illegally purchasing a firearm for someone who cannot do so on their own could face up to 15 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. This year's month-long Don't Lie public education campaign in and around the Houston area is a robust effort, and it will deliver more than 46 million gross media impressions once it's completed in mid-June. That includes an outdoor campaign with 45 billboards posted along the highways, strategically placed on high-traffic areas, as well as the transit shelters in some of the busiest areas in and around Houston. There will also be more than 400 radio spots that will run on top of 2 top FM radio stations in Houston, KODA and KQBT. Lastly, there will be a social media display component. There will be more than 2.5 million Don't Lie advertisements on Facebook and Instagram, as well as geofenced mobile display ads in and around the Houston area, with the message reminding the public, don't lie for the other guy. This important multimedia campaign is fully funded by members of the firearm industry, and we're grateful for their support in this effort. In addition, we're beginning 2 years ago, our Don't Lie public awareness campaigns have been complemented by the outreach for additional federal funding allocated by the ATF and Congress. Don't Lie for the Other Guy program helps the ATF to educate hardworking employees and the firearm retailers so they are better prepared to stop, prevent, and deter illegal straw purchases. We're proud of our long cooperative effort relationship with the entire law enforcement community, and we are proud to assist in their efforts to combat the criminal acquisition and criminal misuse of firearms. Once again, a special thank you goes out to our members like Primary Arms, the ATF Special Agent in Charge, Michael Waddell, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and all the dedicated staff here in the Houston area for demonstrating their commitment that Don't Lie for the Other Guy program and coordinating today's event. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Special Agent Waddell. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Mike Waddell. I'm the Special Agent Charged with the Houston Field Division. I do, again, Mark Oliver, I just want to say thank you again for the continued support of the NSSF and also for Primary Arms for allowing us to host this venue here today to get out this important message. And so also I want to thank our law enforcement partners here. One thing, for the law enforcement partners here that are here for the Houston area, our state, local, and also additional federal partners, is that each one of our partners can tell a story where they responded to a scene that ended in tragedy. And so as part of that is the investigation of those scenes. Us as law enforcement, we're left to explain, whether it's through the investigation or the family members, how an individual who might have been prohibited from possessing a firearm because they had previous violent felony convictions, obtained a firearm. And it was typical through that investigation that we would find that that firearm was straw purchased, from a location by an individual who went into, say, a licensee or an FFL and lied on a form to state that that firearm was for them when they were indeed obtaining that firearm on someone else's behalf who had a nefarious reason to obtain it. And so, that being said, we want to reach out to our community members and say, hey, do not lie for the other guy. It's a violation of federal law. If we do find that that firearm was obtained through that purpose, through the straw purchasing, then working with our federal prosecutors, that carries up to 15 years in federal prison and or a $250,000 fine. And so, again, this is it's violence that plagues our neighborhood. And so this is a way for us to get out, work with our industry members, with our licensees, our FFLs, to deter these actions. Recently we had an investigation in the Houston area. We had 2 individuals that were learned to be straw purchasing firearms. They were interdicted, found to be in possession of 10 firearms that were intended to be traveling south to a foreign country. And so as part of that investigation, we learned that they had already purchased and sent approximately 40 firearms to that country. And so this is one thing that the ATF, working with our federal, state partners, local partners, absolutely, to prevent. And so, this is our opportunity to get out with that education. And so, and work with our partners. Again, following this event, there'll be millions of media impressions that get out, through social media, through billboards. And so we appreciate that, that resource, working with the NSSF. And that is all we have for now. Thank you so much.
Are there any questions we can answer?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First question, can you give an example, but can you give a couple examples of what exactly a straw purchase is?
Yeah. So a straw purchase of a firearm is an illegal purchase of a firearm when you go in and you lie on that background check form and you state that that firearm is truly intended for you. When you check that box on that form 4473, and you attest that that firearm is truly intended for you when you know it's not intended for you, and you intend to pass that firearm along to somebody who may not want to be associated with the sale of that firearm or cannot purchase one on their own because they may be a prohibited individual under several factors. We don't really want to go into some of the techniques that are used to do that, and some of those techniques that ATF is working with our retailers to be able to train them on spotting some of those tails. But there are ways that the ATF has been helping to us as the industry and the retailers to be able to prevent those from happening. I want to remind everybody that the retailers really are the front line of defense. They're the ones who are working with the field offices and being able to reach out to them, giving them the tips when they say something that may not be right, and working with them to get that information to them so we can prevent this crime from happening.
And the term straw purchase, is it limited to just that example alone, or could it be something with person-to-person sale?
A person-to-person sale, if there's is an illegal sale from person to person, someone who's selling a firearm to somebody who they know is a prohibited individual, is a different crime, and we want that crime to stop as well. This campaign here is focusing on the retail level. We're working with our partners in law enforcement, us in industry, and with the retailers to make sure that we're getting that message out that it's just not worth it. Don't try to commit this crime. You'll get caught, and you can spend up to 15 years in prison and face a $250,000 fine.
Have you seen an uptick for the reason for this campaign?
Yeah, so we do this at the ATF's request. The ATF will ask us which cities they want to be able to do this. So we leave it up to the ATF to decide those cities. We routinely will carry out this campaign for usually about 3 cities a year. And this was ATF's request to do this. Again, this has been a partnership that's been going on for 25 years. And it's one of those things people ask, well, how do you measure that success? And it's how do you prove that negative? We're able to stop that crime. We know in the industry that this is an important effort that we have to do. We know that we need to support our retailers. We need to support law enforcement. And we know that we have to make sure that we're doing our part to prevent firearms from getting into the hands of those people who should never have them in the first place. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to repost the question, sir? Or?
Just Is there an uptick in the Houston area in straw purchases?
So to answer that question, I wouldn't say that it's an uptick necessarily, but it's a, I would say it's a steady flow. And so as we identify, sometimes there's networks that use multiple straw purchasers. And so as we look to identify and, carry out those investigations for those straw purchasers, working with our U.S. Attorney's Office to carry out that prosecution, then at that point we might see a low. But there's, especially because there's criminal, networks, there's, drug trafficking organizations that are still out looking to obtain firearms, that, that need for those firearms to kind of facilitate some of those crimes it's always going to be there.
All right. Appreciate it, folks. Thank you.
Okay.